I would call them like extensions, or it makes things pretty, basically. Basic HTML, as some of you may know, it's like pretty outdated and it doesn't look as appealing. So we integrated some Bootstrap into this workshop so you can make your projects look a bit better and more professional. And oh wait, okay, cool, we're recording. Also, let's see what else. Yeah, I think
you want to show what
start.
the project is. So basically the project or the thing that they're building today is like our version of a online business card. We thought we were original, but apparently people have made this before. So yeah, it's intended to be very intro, beginner stuff.
Yes, give us a second before. So this project is intended to be for a phone, right? This is basically, yeah, like as BB said, this will be a digital business card where you can, like, you know, give a little bio of yourself and provide like the links to your social medias, your resume, your LinkedIn, and your email, right? It's fairly basic. So at the end, we hope that your card will look like this, right? And we put it under this view because we want you guys to play with it afterwards and make it look better, even through you know, desktop or an iPad, because currently it only looks good right now on basically an iPhone or at any mobile device. So yeah. Yeah, so I think we can start now, right?
I'm gonna go through some slides.
Yeah, you can. BB can go through some slides now.
Oh no, that's my cutie for a stop.
Okay.
Okay. So first slide. This one's first. So in HTML, we have like these things called elements, and basically they're written in this kind of notation where you have a tag name, something inside the opening tag and the closing tags. The closing tags are distinguished with the backslash and then the tag name. This is kind of like the basic HTML structure. So you have an HTML tag, which starts like the HTML document. And then inside that, we have a head tag and a head closing tag. So everything inside the head, you don't see it on the page. It's more of like what happens on the back end kind of stuff. So like the link, this is where you connect your CSS file to your HTML code. And CSS file is just like the stuff that styles it. And then underneath the head, we have the body, which are basically where we're going to put all of these HTML elements inside. So a couple of important tags or tags that we'll be using in this workshop are these. So the first one is a header tag with the H1, and you put text inside of it. Sorry, you put text inside of it, and then you close it off with the closing tag. So what the text inside of it are basically like headings. And they range from H1 to H6, H1 being the largest, H6 being the smallest. When you're using H tags, the size doesn't really matter because we can always change that with CSS, but what matters and using it correctly is the structure of it. So it's kind of like H1 would be like the title of your page, and H2 would be like a subtitle, H3 would be like a subtitle of that subtitle. So that kind of hierarchy. And then we also have a paragraph tag. This is kind of where we hold all the body text. So like, let's say we have an H1 of your name, and then a paragraph would hold like an about me text, right? And then we have italic tags, which basically italicizes everything inside of what's inside of here. We have things called div and span. So these are kind of, they work as containers in a way. They kind of group HTML elements together. A div tag defines a division or section of the HTML element. Like I said, they group a certain set of elements together. And a span is very similar to that, except we use it on a much smaller scale. So typically it's used for a small chunk of HTML elements inside of a line. In most cases, it's used for like text, like H1 paragraphs, tags, and such, like small like bits of HTML elements, whereas div are a much wider range, which can hold like a section of a web page. The difference is also that divs are block line elements. So every time we have a div, it's kind of like a break tag, which a break tag is it creates a new line. So we'll have one div here and the other one will follow right underneath it when it's displayed, whereas a span is an inline element. So that means that they are right beside each other on the line instead of below each other. Here we have image tags and link tags. That's not supposed to be paragraph. I'll change that. So image tags, they hold images to display. And basically we put the path to the image or the link to the image inside of these quotation marks inside of source. And then the A-links, they hold URLs. So basically when it's displayed, you can click on that link and then it'll take you to the other page. And you put the URL to the page you want to go into inside of the href. Or you can also use a path. Paths are kind of like, they kind of direct you to a file inside of your code. I think Frank will go into the code. So moving on from HTML, we have CSS selectors. These, they follow this kind of format where you have the element name, and inside of that you have a property and a value. So the element name are kind of like, we can take all H1s. So it could be like, it could be H1 right here, and then we could use a property like background color, change all H1s to the value of red, background color of red. And then we have Bootstrap. So as Frank mentioned, Bootstrap is used for like responsive layout and aligning content. It's very useful in that you don't really need to use media queries because basically what responsive means is that if we have a desktop view and we change it to an iPhone view, everything inside should change with it. If it's not responsive, then your elements will just like go all over the place. So Bootstrap is very helpful for that. And the kind of flow of it is that we have these divs, and divs group elements together. So this first div groups these 4 divs inside, and the second div groups these 3, and so on. So the flow of the Bootstrap grid layout is kind of as such, whereas the outermost one is the container. This holds the entire grid itself. The inner one is the row, so this one row. And then inside the row, we have different columns. So we have column 1, column 2, column 3. If we wanted 2 rows, it would just kind of be underneath this div. I think I can. If we wanted to add like a second row, it would just be div class equals row. Right, and then we'll put the stuff inside like more columns, and that would make a second row. So that's kind of like a high level of HTML and CSS and a bit of Bootstrap. Frank will go more into it in the code. We just wanted to go over it briefly. So you've seen it like once, and the second time I'll be like, okay, I remember that. Is there any questions? We'll post the recording on our Discord chat.
Yeah, so if you haven't joined already, if Francis or Jason or somebody else can drop the Discord link, it will be great. So you could join and get the recording as well.
Yeah.
Cool.
Which slide was that, Avi? Was it 8?
Slide for
8.
okay.
The closing tag be call or div. It should be div. Sorry. You are right. It should be div because, well, there is no element called call. Just thank you. And yeah, that's it.
Cool. Thank you, Vivi. Thank you for the slides. Okay, so I'll share my screen now and we can start coding. Cool. Let me do some stuff first. So, let me see. How can we do this? Hopefully this doesn't crash. Okay. Can you guys see my screen?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Yeah, so let's start off by simply creating a GitHub account first if you haven't already. So if you haven't created an account, sorry, let me do something first. I think I need to share only. Let's do this one. Okay. So if you go to GitHub, create account, or sorry, let me can people in the chat like say if they create an account or not? Or you can just say yes, no, or you need time. Yes, yes. Cool, cool, cool. Cool. Okay. So most people have a GitHub account. Cool. Okay. Nice. All right. So did everybody download vscode? Yes. Yes.
Any text editor. Yeah.
Yeah. Or any. Yeah. Cool. Cool. Nice. Or C++. Yeah, that's cool. Okay. Okay, nice. All right, so we can hop into VS Code now. So in order to view like the HTML that we're gonna be creating, we're gonna be using a VS Code extension. So VS Code is really cool because there's like a lot of open source extensions, and extensions are basically little packages that add some new feature to VS Code. So one popular extension that allows us to view our HTML is called Live Server. So if you can go to, let's say if you open up VS Code, right, and you create a folder for where your business card will live. I named mine Resolve Business Card, and you can name yours whatever you want. And so you open that folder, right, and then you can go to this last icon here, which is the bottom one, and simply you look up Live Server, and just simply click install. And let me know if anybody has any trouble. We can troubleshoot really quickly. So we can do like 2 minutes. Wait till everybody downloads the extension.
How can we download the extension? Because it says thank you for downloading, but I don't see how I get to see the live server.
Cool, okay. Yeah, so let me start from scratch, right? So I think if you open VS Code, right?
Oh, it's an app.
Yes.
Okay, so let me go to my Play Store. What's the name of the app?
VS Code.
It's in VS Code. You have to download inside VS Code on the extensions tab.
Right, so if you open, like I said, you create a folder for your business card, you open that, and it prompts you to where the VS Code window, and it should be empty, right? Cool.
What device do you have, Frank?
Device as in, what do you mean by that?
What kind of computer do you have?
I'm running it on Linux, but this is very similar to Mac OS, so I'm sure if it works for Linux, I think it could work for Mac OS as well.
I have a Mac, and the way to get to that extension page is Command-Shift-X. What is it on yours, Frank?
Command-Shift-X for what?
To get to that extension page to download the stuff.
Yeah. Oh, it's Control-Shift-X.
Yeah.
Which is the same as Windows, I think. So if everybody's here already, you simply look up live server. And you click on the first one, and simply you'll get like an install button here.
Okay, now I'm sorry to interrupt, but it says I downloaded the Visual Code mobile, and it's saying create a folder/file. Do I press that?
Let's see. Perhaps somebody could help you through the chat.
Yeah, I could help on the chat.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so Ensar will shoot you a message real quick.
Okay, thank you.
Nice. Okay, yeah, so we could continue, right? Right, so if you have that installed already, let's just create an index.html file, which basically all your code will live in, or your HTML code will live in there. So you can click this little button, press enter, and it creates it, right? And let's see. And so the basic startup for HTML is you have to do the doc type tag, which I'm not exactly sure what it does, but I guess every HTML project has to have one. And then you can include your HTML tag. And what's nice about VS Code is that it has autocomplete for HTML. And so if you just add these two tags, this should be good. So I'll give you guys like a minute to type that.
Frank, do you want to show how you create like a folder or an HTML file? One more time.
Okay. So if you click this new file icon, click it, and then you give it a name, index_2.html. You have to give the HTML extension, so VS Code knows that this is an HTML file. Then you can press enter, and you can write your HTML within this file. And is that good? Got it? Cool. Then you have the HTML tag. Nice. Is that clear? Cool. All right, so let's get coding. Let's get to coding. So first I'm gonna put this to the side right here so I can view some code that we wrote previously. So I'll make sure like everything is the same. So let's say we wanted to view this HTML document on the web, right? you will simply you can do a right click on your HTML file, and then you can see that there's an option that says open with live server, which is, for me, is Alt plus L and Alt O. I don't know that key binding, that's weird, but you can just right click and then do open with live server. You click that, and that should take you to a new tab. And so to make sure that it worked, we can add some quick tags. So for example, as BB mentioned before, the head tag will contain our title. So let's give our web page a title. So if you add the head tag, right? Cool. And then you can do title. Let's see, close that. And then you say cool card resolve or something like that. That's the title. I think it should load. Give me a second. Sorry. Let me reopen this. Cool. Yeah, so you can see that we changed the title of the tab. So this will be our title. We could change it anytime we want. So we want to name it Resolve. You can see that it updates automatically. Cool. Okay, so now we're gonna add like some important tags. So we can use Bootstrap, and we can make our HTML page dynamic. That means that it changes as the screen size changes, right? So to do that, I think I'll drop this link on the chat. Okay, drop that link. So if you travel to that link, you can see that there's like a couple tags here, right? So there's like the meta tag, there are 2 meta tags, the link. This link tag would basically download all the CSS components that Bootstrap has, which we will use. So it's gonna link to our own CSS file that we will create in a bit, and it would set the title to business card. So we can simply just copy and paste that, right? Just because that's like out of the scope of the workshop. So we need to copy that into the head tag. And if we do that, then that's gonna import the Bootstrap CSS components. Cool. Is that clear? I'll give you guys a minute so you guys can do that real quick. Cool. And as we said previously, we changed the title to business card, and you saw that this took effect. So the next thing, cool. To open, like, you can also right click on the file and then press open live server. Yeah, cool. All right, then let's create where our CSS will live, right? So the same way we created the HTML file, we can just click the new file button and then do style.css. And that's gonna be the name of our CSS file. And we create that by pressing enter. And now we go into our HTML file, index.html. And by putting this line in, which we copied and pasted from this GitHub repo that we created. This tells HTML, okay, so so in order to make this web page pretty, look into styles.css. Then HTML will go into styles.css and grab all the CSS code and render it however it has to do it. So you're basically linking two files together, and then HTML is saying, okay, I'm gonna use this code and apply those elements into this web page. Cool. Nice. Okay. And now let's get to like the more important part, where all of our HTML will live, and this is going to be the body tag. Also, B, do you think you can share the HTML CSS cheat sheet that we created?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Baby's going to share like a doc where there's going to be a little blurb and like usage on, or like it's going to explain to you how to use the tags that we're using. Like, for example, you might see a lot of tags and it might be overwhelming. We created a doc for you guys, so you can simply just look up any tags that you don't know what they do. So for example, if you're confused about the head tag, you can go into that doc and see little examples of what it's doing in our code, and use that as reference. Cool. Okay. So let's see. Cool. Okay. So let's go back to the finished example that we created. So we have this, right? So let's plan to see what are we gonna build. So we're gonna need an image, right? We need to create an image. We need to find a way to render an image in our HTML code. Then we can say, okay, below that image, we have this little section that includes our college and our name, right? So we can say, okay, this is called like the name section. And so that's gonna be a separate part of our code. Then we can say, okay, let's separate our bio from everything else, because our bio will just contain plain text. And then below the bio, we'll have another section that contains all the buttons to our social media. So essentially, we're basically coding up four different pieces of code. Let's see. And I'm saying this in this way so we know that what we're going to code in advance, right? So I think a good starting point would be, let's say, the image, right? How can we get an image into HTML? Okay.
Frank?
Yes, go ahead.
You named your CSS file style, but you have styles.
Gotcha, thank you.
Thanks, Avi.
Styles. Cool. Right. Oh, okay. So I think I forgot one extra part. So if you go back to that GitHub that I sent you, if you go to the bottom, just copy and paste these scripts as well, because that's also for Bootstrap. So, and you're gonna copy it into the body tag. So you can just copy and paste that, which is like random links. Not random links, but links, so you can render the Bootstrap attributes. So if you can just copy this into your body tag, it'll be perfect. And that's all you have to do for now. And then we can continue on how to build the image section of the business card. Also, is the size of this editor good for you guys, or should it be bigger?
It's fine because you have to pull up other stuff and stuff like that. So like if you could pull it up side by side, that'd be more helpful.
Okay, gotcha. Cool. Okay, so I think we can continue with the image portion of it. So, okay, so we're gonna render like an image of ourselves into the web page. So the way we would do that, right, is that we can go into our body, right? And let's say we're gonna write some comments saying that, okay, so the code below will simply be stuff for our profile, image profile. So the way you do comments is simply by adding these two tags, like this opening, less than, exclamation, dash, dash, and you close it with this. And then when you put like stuff inside, HTML will now render that into the web page. And these are considered comments. I think a way to do it in Mac is through using command / and in Windows you can do control / to render comments, to create a comment line. Is that correct, Bibi, or?
I do command / for comments. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. No. Okay. So let's get to it. So first we're going to divide this section because to make our, I guess, to use the div tag. So whenever we use a div tag, the div tag allows us to apply CSS components to the tags within the div tag itself, right? So let's say, so we created a div tag and we want to put our image within the div tag. So then we can do image, the image tag, and then close it, right? We don't need to add like the other side. We don't need to add like a closing image tag since it's not necessary, I suppose. And so in order to load up the image that we want, we simply can provide either the path or like the location of the image that we want to upload, or we can do a URL. So I think if we, let's say, then we can get a random image from the internet and then add the URL, and you can see that it can load. So it's a way to get okay, so I guess we can download it. Right. So I'm just gonna download this image. Right. So what I did is I went to Pixabay just to get a random image. So I think it's pixabay.com. You click on whatever image you like, and then you can do download. Another thing you can do is, like, let's say if you have your own profile pic, you can also load that, and I'll show you how. So we're gonna put our images within the images folder. So the way we do this is by simply creating a new folder, which is the button next to the new file button. Click new folder, and then we're gonna name that images. And then, let's see, how can we do that? Then if we go to, then you just have to move that, you just have to move that image that you just downloaded or whatever image you want into that folder. So I think we can do this. So as you can see now, the So now the image that I downloaded is within the images folder. Cool. And you can render it in VS Code. And let's rename this file so it's like easier to call. So I want to name it flower.jpg. And then if we go to our HTML, we can say, okay, where is this image? So the way we do it is by going through to images. Then we do / and then we say flower.jpg or whatever name your image is. So if we go back, you can see like the image was loaded. And if you don't believe me, I could remove it, I think. And then it disappears. And then add that, and then it appears again. So it's pretty neat. Cool. Cool, but now the problem is that this image is like very big, right? So what we want to do is simply resize it, right? So here's where we're going to use the attributes or the components from Bootstrap, right? So we're going to do class equals, and then open quotations, and then we're going to give it the rounded tag, and the rounded tag basically creates adds like soft corners to the image. And then we're going to do image fluid. And what image fluid does is that it allows the image to be reshaped based on the size of your screen, right? If we go back, you can see that it's more nice. It has a more tight size, and it isn't like the whole screen. So you can see that it changes. See if we put it like on the iPhone view, you can see like it's similar to what we have here. Cool, right? So now we're like 1/4 our way done. So we put our image profile, right? Cool. So that's done. And now what we want to do is add like our name and name in school, right? Okay, so
excuse me. I
yeah,
have
go
a
ahead.
question.
Sure.
My website isn't working. Well, I'm trying to like I uploaded my picture and everything, but like I can't see it and stuff. Like I don't know
Okay,
what's going on.
cool. Did you make sure like that your path is correct?
Yeah, I put images and then / my picture name.
Cool. Perhaps one of you guys can help out here.
Yeah, do you want to send me like a private screenshot of your code and the files? Like the left panel that he has here and then your code.
Okay.
Great. Cool. Thanks. Let's see. Right. So let's add the name now. So we're gonna use a div tag one more time, or we're gonna be using it a lot throughout our code. So we create another div tag, and then within this div tag, we're gonna create a vertical bar, right? This vertical bar. So like, you know, it creates like some spacing and it kind of looks neat, right? So the way we do that is simply by using the I tag. We create an I tag and we close it, right? And sure, it doesn't appear, right? So you might be confused why it doesn't appear, but that's because we need to add it. We need to add some HTML to our project too, so it can look like similar. So let me go to like the CSS file just to make sure that I'm doing it properly. Okay, so we're gonna name, we're going to apply a CSS class to this vertical line, and we're gonna call it vertical. Cool. And this is gonna be our vertical line. So if we go to our CSS, we do dot vertical, indicating that we're going to specify the CSS attributes for a specific CSS, for CSS class. So it has to be the same name, right? So vertical and vertical. So the way we should do this is by, okay, so the way I did this was that, okay, I applied, so I'm gonna type this out and then explain it to you guys. So border left, right? This is gonna provide a border to the left side of I guess, the component I, with a width of 1 pixel. Cool. And then you can color solid, so it's like a solid line. Somebody said border left, or so is border dash left, not dot. Cool. And then you add the solid attribute, and you can see that it appeared there. But if we remove the solid attribute, you can see it's removed. I don't know if it's like somewhere here. So then we do solid, and then we color it gray. And then we provide a height, so the height of the vertical bar. And we give it a 55 pixel. And the position of this will be absolute. Cool. And then left. So I'll explain what each of these do after. Cool. Actually, I think this was a section. You guys can change this into section as well. I think it was in a div. And a section is similar to a div. BB, do you know the difference between section and div?
Section is more like we're supposed to use section for each part of your document. Div is more like section is more specific to a part of your HTML doc, like the web page, and a div is more like just grouping if you need it for like styling and stuff.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you use them interchangeably?
Yeah, but it's not like best practice too.
Okay, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So I'll basically break some practice right now into some section. I guess like 2 section off that this is like where the name related stuff is going to be, the name and college stuff is going to be. So
yeah, like that's fine. So like a section could be where the name is and a section could be where the image is. That's okay too.
Cool. Yeah. Okay. Nice. So you can see that here we added the height, right? So the height of this vertical line is 55 pixels. The position is absolute, which I think it's basically, do you know, can you explain what absolute is to you?
I honestly get confused with absolute and what's the other one? Relative?
Relative?
I think absolute, okay. I don't know what absolute is. I know relative is like it fits the element into like the size. It looks at like the surrounding elements and adjust the size to fit there.
Cool.
Yeah, I don't know what absolute.
Okay. Yeah, so we just put absolute. So if you don't understand it, that's totally fine. You can just put absolute, and then left is basically padding, I believe. So if we increase padding, like if we increase the left to 7%, let's say, you can see that it shifts to the right 50%. So we did 5. Cool. So yeah, that's basically your vertical line. So what's next is basically your name, right? So here we're gonna use the H4 tag, right? And within that tag, we're gonna put our name. So my name is Frank. And you can see that Frank Palm is added, but you know, it's kind of ugly right now. So we're gonna add more CSS. So let's create another class, and we're gonna call this class, or I think we'll be using classes from Bootstrap now. So we're gonna make this into like a bold. So the way you do it with Bootstrap is simply by doing font dash weight dash bold, and that's gonna make the whole name bold, and you can see it here.
Yeah, so basically like Bootstrap, they have like classes that you can use. So when you import Bootstrap, you can use their classes. And what it does is that it comes with like specific styling. So like one of the popular ones would be on a button is like button dash primary. That's kind of like industry standard like button styling. So that's like one of the, yeah, okay.
Cool, thank you. Okay. Now let's create, let's see, another class. So as you can see, like the whole thing is kind of off, right? Because we want to put our name after the vertical line. And so how I did that was simply creating another class called name. And this class will be applied to the entire section. So what we want to do is say class is equal to name. Very simple, right? And then we want to add the CSS for name in our CSS file. So the way we want to do this is we can do padding left, and we can do 5%. So if we do 5%, you see that it already shifted. But if we do 10, looks better, right? So we also want to add some padding to the top, because it's very close to the image, right? So if we do 10%. Cool. I think we can do 5. Okay. And then just to keep things consistent, let's add some to the right as well, which is equal to the left, so symmetric. This is not going to do anything, but you know, just keep it consistent, I guess. Or I guess like adding padding to the right is not going to do any visual change, but technically there is padding here, but you just can't see it. Cool. And so that's basically the name class. And now we want to add the college, right? So, and I used, what did I use? I think I used the P tag, right? The paragraph tag. And I added the class, or before we add classes, let's put this college, the school. And you can see that it added Queens College. And if, let's make this italic, do class equal font, it gets font italic, right? Cool. You can see that it's italicized now. And you can see like in the demo, we added some emojis, and you can add some emojis if you like. You can just like Google search emojis and just copy and paste them into your HTML. Cool, so that's another section done. And let's say now we want the bio section. So let's add another comment. Let's say we're gonna put bio. Okay, so in the bio, we're gonna put another section just to keep things consistent. Cool. And then I guess this Carlo Towers has a bio very similar to Einstein's for some reason. We're just gonna copy and paste it just cause. So you can put your bio in here, and you can do that with a p tag as well. Cool. And nice. Sorry. So you added your bio in here, right? So you can come up with a bio of whatever you want to share, and you can put like what you're interested in, the type of food you like, or that you want to be a computer science student, looking for jobs and stuff. And yeah, so you can see that this is not very aligned properly. So in order to do that, we're going to use another class, and we're going to call this class bio. And we can do bio, that. Then we add more padding, so we can align it with our other elements. Padding left, we can do 5%, because we want to align it with the vertical line, right? So you saw that we gave this, so let's change this to padding left. Padding left and left, I think. Or, okay, no, let's just do left for now. So if you add padding left, this will just align to the vertical line. And then we can add padding to the right. We can keep it consistent with our other elements. So padding right does this. So it's nice and aligned now. It's not like all out of place. I think that's all we added to bio. And I think, yeah, I think we can add some to the top as well. Oops, sorry. 5%. Okay, that sounds nice. Cool. And so that's another section done. Oh, and I also use the center tag or the center class in Bootstrap. So I think it centers it to the middle. So you can add that as well. Cool. Okay, now let's add our links. Does anybody have any other questions, or are good? Cool, nice, okay. So as
I have
regular.
a question.
Oh, shall I? Go ahead. Yeah.
How do we get our border aligned with our name?
Border aligned with our name. Okay, so the board, I guess the border was the vertical. And so it has this component left, right? So we just added some padding to the left side, which is 10%. Is that cool? The template isn't as aligning. Okay. Let's see. Can somebody?
Do you want to maybe send that link of the flower JPEG? See if it is the image?
Okay, sure, yeah. So if you use this image, I think it should work.
Yeah, so download this image and replace the image that you have inside the images folder with this one and see if that works.
Yeah, I think I used this size, 1280 by 853. Cool. All right, so we can continue. I'm in that hour. Cool, no problem. So we had another section tag. So our links will go inside the link, inside this section, right? So let's create, we're gonna add some CSS to this section. So we're gonna call it links. And I think we could add some CSS now. So, so the links is gonna be basically a group of buttons. So we just want to align those buttons as well. So if we do dot links, create the class, and then we just want to add some more padding to the left side, padding to the right side. Cool. Okay, so to create buttons, we can use the, is this an anchor tag, Bibi? I think that's what it's called.
Yeah.
Cool. We can use an anchor tag that allows us to create an href or a link. And in order to make it clickable, simply provide an href attribute. And within this href goes the link that you want to go to when you click on the button. Okay, cool. And so then we could add some classes to this. And the classes that we will be using is the btn, which is basically, okay, this tells HTML that this is going to be a button. And these are all Bootstrap tags, by the way. And then we do btn labeled, which edits how the text within the button would look. And then we do btn success, which will make our button green. And then we can put a span tag within this. And I think a span, the span tag will contain the little icon that we assign to it. So we do that by adding another tag within the span tag, the I tag, and we give that tag, the I tag, some classes. And so we're using also font awesome for the fonts, and you already added like the link to import the fonts, so you don't have to worry about anything else. And the classes for this, let's say if you wanted to add an icon for Instagram, you can do fab and then FA, then Instagram. I think that adds it. Cool. And then we can just like put a bunch of these so we don't have to repeat our code. Oop. So we can just copy and paste. Yeah, so I'll leave you that. You can copy as many tags that you want for the buns, and I'll be back quickly. Cool. Sorry about that, guys. So there was somebody at my door. Okay, cool. So depending on how many buttons that you want to add, you can just use this set of tags multiple times. Okay, so then I think we can add the text within these tags. So I think actually before we do that, let's say we wanted to add like a LinkedIn tag. I think that's the tag, right? Cool. You saw that it changed. Look through a desktop view. Okay, and then you can add Twitter if you have a Twitter or whatever. And you can even do GitHub. Cool. Right, and then I think you can do email. I think the email one is FAS. FAS, FA envelope, open text. If we go back, you can see that it added that. Cool. And you can put like the URL to your buttons within the href tag, as we said before. Like for example, if we want to do HTTPS, let's say github.com. Now we like click on the GitHub icon. Okay. So we have this URL. We copy it in here, and then we'll go to this one. You can see that we can open it. Fairly simple, right? Another extension I need for mobile view. No, I think you can just simply right click. If you're in Chrome, you do right click and then inspect, and then you change the device that you want by clicking this drop down. Cool, yeah, you got it. Yeah, so I think so. We have like 10 minutes left, so I think it's good to go and see how to make this public, right? So if you go to your GitHub, let's say travel to your GitHub, and then you do new repository, and this is gonna be, for me, is gonna be cool business card. I think, how do you spell business card? Okay, card. You give it a repository name. You can make it. You should make it public. And just do create repository. Right? Is everybody good with that? So did everybody create their repository? Let's see. Oh, yes. Cool. All right. Then the way you can do this is by simply just copying and pasting your files, since we didn't go through Git in this workshop. So you see that creating a new file. You can do that, and you can name this index.html. And what you can do is simply just copy and paste this entire page. So if you copy and paste this entire thing, right click and then copy. Cool. And then you say commit file. You created your HTML and you put it into your GitHub. Okay. For images that are small. Okay, sure. Okay, and then if you want, let's add our CSS. You do create new file. We go here. We copy that and we just put it into this file. Click in, Command V, and we name this styles.css. Cool. And then you can say commit new file. And that's your styles.css. And lastly, you can do upload files. So the way you should do this is you should go to your folder where you have your code. So for me, it was resolve. Where's the code? Business card. So images, open, Cool. And then you do commit changes. That's just going to load. Nice, and it added flowers.jpg. I think we need to I don't know how to create a folder in here.
Yeah, so you can go in new file.
New file.
Yep, create new file.
Okay.
And then type in the folder name where it says name your file. So you can type in images and then / /. So that's a folder now, and now you type in the file name, which was flowers, I think. Flower.jpg.
Yep. Okay. Nice. So let's delete this then. Let's say delete this file. And then we do commit changes. Nice, and that deleted that too.
You could
So,
go on upload file and do the same thing.
Upload file. And then?
Can you?
Yeah, I mean, there's no way to like create
Can
a.
you rename the flower image on like the main? If you go into flower, can you rename it?
Rename?
Okay, no. Maybe just
Um,
change the path.
Yeah,
in
just
there.
change the path. So go into your HTML, right? Let's say edit this file. And if you go into your image tag, you delete your images thing and just do flower.jpg or whatever your name is, the name of your image is. And then commit changes. And that's updated. Wow, what did I do? I don't know. Cool. Okay, so then we go back here. And that was updated, right? So now we want to post this into GitHub. So the way you would do this is go to settings, into like these little 3 dots. Right. And then you go down. So we have GitHub pages, right? If we click settings, we go all the way down to GitHub pages. We do check it out here. Then we do, we click the none, you do main, and you do save. Cool, and so now your site is published into this domain or whatever domain it gives you. So then if you go there, it's not found, it's probably like rendering right now. So don't worry about it, just give it some time. You go back to settings. You go to pages. Okay, nice. It was published, so if we go there, it's not found yet for some reason.
Takes a while to load.
Takes a while, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so just give it some time. And then let's see. Okay, so it's gonna take some time. But if you did that the way we did it, then I think you should have a public business card and a link for it so you can share it. Yeah. So does anybody have any questions? No? Okay, cool. Let's see. Yeah, cool. Maybe now. Yeah, I think it's gonna take some time.
Yeah, it took me like an hour for one of my projects.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, so if you check back like on an hour, then I think you should be good. Cool. Yeah, so I think that was it. So I think I should stop sharing. Nobody has any other questions. Cool. Also, we can drop the feedback form if you guys have it.
Francis, do you have it?
Yeah, I'll upload it right now.
Kind of missed the last part. This will be posted on Discord. Yeah, this were the recording will be posted on Discord.
Do you want to talk briefly about the positions?
Yeah, do you want to do that, Bibi?
Let me get the file first.
Sure.
Okay. So currently it's us five. I, Frank, Francis, Jason, and Anzar. But come next semester, we're looking to like open up more roles for more people. And if anyone's interested, these are the roles. One would be website maintainer. We do have a website, but with all of our busy schedules, we barely get time to get around to it. So someone who is comfortable with HTML/CSS and GitHub. Basically like the recording that we have today, as well as the Git repo will be posted onto the website. And that's about it for the role of a website maintainer. We also have a fundraiser coordinator, which right now we don't need any money because it's all online, or external public relations person, so someone who oversees the money situations, spread words about events. Hopefully we're in person come next spring, so we can have like an in-person workshop or like much bigger scale. And typically when like events on campus are pretty big, there are sponsors. So for someone who would be in charge of that. And were there any other ones, Frank?
The junior roles?
Oh, yes. And basically every role here, we're looking for like someone who's interested in being a junior, like a junior workshop development. So you would work with Frank and I alongside us to put together these workshops in terms of code and presentations and stuff. And then same goes for the rest, like junior Discord maintainer / opportunity seeker / internal public relations. So someone who interacts with the Discord chat. We post a lot of like opportunities for jobs and internships, to someone who looks into that, and as well as feedback and ways to improve our workshops. A junior logistics coordinator / multimedia coordinator. So they will work alongside Enzar with creating like Zoom links and forums and just making sure everything runs well in terms of like everything's on track, everything's on time. and put together before the workshop. They'll also be taking care of like the mailing list and stuff, not alone, but alongside Enzar and like the people we have listed here. And then a junior designer, someone who designs our flowers, designs our flyers, and as well as like social media, like we're on Instagram. If you don't follow us. And yeah, and then the emails as well. We have them very pretty. And reach out to the CS departments. And yeah, so if anyone's interested, we would love to have you. Frank, are we gonna would they put them in the feedback form if they're interested?
Yeah, so we don't have a form yet for this. We would create one, but I think we're gonna send any updates through our Discord.